Hello, followers. Maybe you'll agree with me that a mother's struggle to keep her children still young close by is normal. But when a grandfather decides to go to the very end to have his grandchildren nearby, is that normal? And when this grandfather has a terminal illness and still insists on this goal, what should we think? And what about the father of these children? What does he think about all of this? It's because this man also wanted to have his children close by. And that only didn't happen because his father took the lives of the mother and stepfather of these children during a hearing where all three were representing themselves and were present. And after that, this same man took his own life, thus depriving the grandchildren of the company of their mother, Ashley Prince. Followers, as you may have noticed, I'm in a different setting. Why? In the city where I used to live with my family, Lachado, there was that flood, that inundation. To keep my family safe, I brought all of them to Taquari to live here with me. And since the other place where I was staying was a very small space, only big enough for one person, which was me, where I used to make the videos, I had to move from there to a slightly bigger place, a better house with more space where 5 people and 3 pets can fit, which is the makeup of my family. So followers, from now on, I'll be making videos with a new background, alright? Different from the one with the exposed bricks that you used to see behind me in the other videos. But I'm much happier now because I don't just see my family on weekends anymore. Now I see my family every day, and I keep working, following my regular work hours in my office where I perform my duties as a public servant. Those hammering sounds you're hearing in the background are probably my 2 oldest kids putting together the wardrobe. We just got here, so everything is still pretty messy. But we're managing, getting organized little by little, right? I did have some material losses, that's true, but what was lost can be replaced. My family is my greatest treasure, and as I've said in previous videos, if I lost them, I wouldn't be able to get them back. So followers, let's get started with today's video. Recently, on April 8th, 2024, in Las Vegas, United States, a crime of passion occurred that left everyone in that area completely shocked and bewildered these past few days. An attorney and his wife were shot and killed during a hearing where the custody of their children was being decided. And all of this happened in the husband's own office. And as for how this terrible case ended, followers, I'm going to tell you all about it right now. Talking a bit about the victims, Ashley Prince, 35 years old, was married to attorney Dennis Prince, who was 58. Dennis was Ashley's second husband and the stepfather of the children involved. They were both lawyers, and together they were defending their right to custody of their children. And the lawyer for the other party, the children's father, was Joseph Roston, 77 years old, who was precisely the paternal grandfather of these children and wanted to separate them from their mother. Followers, did you happen to hear a cough? In the background of this video, in the sound effects, okay? That's my son, look. He is my son. He's working behind the scenes, helping me make this video, okay? Cameraman, mister. That's right, cameraman, okay? So look, I'm making the video and he won't appear in it, alright? But he's giving me important help behind the cameras, behind the scenes, okay? So that's it. Let's keep moving forward. But after all, who is Joseph Roston? He was Ashley's father-in-law and also the man who took her life. Besides that, he was also a lawyer and the children's paternal grandfather. According to the police officers in charge of the case, Joseph Rolston was the legal representative of his son Dylan in this matter. And Dylan was Ashley's ex-husband and the father of the children, whose custody was being disputed in court. It's not exactly known. Whether it was as a grandfather or as a lawyer, what we do know for sure is that Joseph went to Dennis's office and, without thinking, driven purely by the hatred in his heart, grabbed a firearm and shot the couple. He then did the same to himself and ended his own life right there after committing the double crime. But what was Ashley and Dennis's marriage like? The two were a completely normal couple. They had been living together for 2 years, and according to everyone who knew them, they led a peaceful life. No one ever suspected the risks they were facing. Dennis and Ashley got married a year before the incident in a private ceremony on a beautiful California beach. And at that moment, no one could have imagined what was about to happen to them the following year, since everyone who knew them thought they were normal people above any suspicion. One of Ashley's sisters is currently taking care of her older children, a 4-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl. For Ashley's family, everything that happened was a huge shock. She was separated from Dylan, Joseph's son, and for some reason she wanted to obtain sole custody of the children after the separation. The atmosphere between Ashley and Dylan was always very tense, and everything was dragging on in such a way that everyone involved was constantly very impatient, waiting for a final decision from the authorities regarding the custody of the children. 4 people witnessed everything that happened. They managed to escape and immediately called the police. One of those 4 witnesses was Ashley's mother, as she was present at the hearing and witnessed everything. She was not injured by the shots fired from Joseph's firearm, and the police are still working to gather more evidence for the investigation in order to determine the real motives behind this crime. Deeply shaken and saddened, Ashley's mother said in her testimony the following: "I will fight for the custody of my grandchildren. The fact is, followers, the atmosphere was so tense that Ashley Prince, during one of her statements, requested the presence of a security team in order to protect her physical safety. However, she thought that the violence would come from Ed Alum, her ex-husband, so much so that when she learned of his absence from the hearing, she felt relieved and canceled the request. But what she could never have imagined is that the real danger would present itself in the form of her ex-father-in-law, a man battling terminal cancer who had only a few months, or perhaps even days, left to live." Followers, what I am about to recount now is based on information from the Las Vegas Review. The children's paternal grandfather and lawyer, Joseph Guston, discovered that he had prostate cancer, which he had been fighting for some time, and the metastases had already spread to his bones. And Joseph learned of this information just days before committing these crimes and before his own decline. Taking his own life at the Summerlin Law Office, his colleague and fellow attorney Louise Schneider said the following about Joseph: "He was my mentor and one of the best friends of my life." According to Louise, Joseph had confided in him that even after numerous treatments, the cancer he was fighting had returned, leaving him completely hopeless. Joseph underwent several treatments without success and became frustrated because of it. Ashley's mother also followed the legal battle for Dylan to gain custody of his children. Because Ashley had filed an emergency request for sole custody of the children, which, according to her, ended up causing even more anxiety in Joseph's mind. On top of that, there were still his health and medical issues that he was struggling with significantly, which ended up making his actions even more unrestrained. On the day of the shooting, Joseph's wife, Catherine, was supposed to answer questions about her son Dylan during a deposition at Dennis Prince's law office. Marcus claimed that this could have been another trigger for Joseph, who was acting as his son's legal representative during the deposition. Attorney Lisa Hansmosen confirmed that she was also present during the shooting. Ashley's mother still hasn't overcome the pain of losing her daughter. She is deeply shaken and in her statement said that she will not give up and that her fight for the custody of her grandchildren will continue. And now, followers, it's time for my favorite part of these videos, our Q&A, and today's questions are: number 1. In your opinion, if Joseph Roston hadn't had a terminal illness, would he have taken the lives of Ashley and Dennis Prince? Number 2, was Ashley Prince reckless in dismissing the security guards at her children's custody hearing, or did she simply not realize the real danger that Joseph posed? Yes, no, and why? Answer and interact with me in the comments, followers. Whatever is good for you will be good for me. That was today's story, followers. Now I'm going to browse the internet in search of new stories to tell you. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Always leave your comments politely so as not to embarrass those involved in the case or the victim's family. Leave a like and share the video with your friends. And turn on the notification bell to receive notifications for new videos that I bring to the channel. Follow me on that other social network, where the location page is right below this video. And see you in the next video.